Pay attention me now, my dear baby. I'm your father, your writer, and I ask you to do something on an urgent foundation. My child, you need to delete a person from your contacts and out of your life as well, due to the fact this person is draining your electricity, your spirit, your peace, and the very essence I have positioned within you. You sense it already, do not you? The weight, the heaviness that surrounds your coronary heart whilst you think of them, that quiet unease that lingers while you receive a message, or hear their voice, or anticipate their subsequent flow. That is not peace, and I'm now not the writer of misunderstanding. I'm not the giver of tension. I'm now not the only who sends storms into your soul. I'm the God of readability, of joy, of relaxation, and my voice speaks in stillness, in reality, and in love. You are my beloved, no longer just a soul among many, however a selected introduction, handmade, formed in my photograph with aim and motive. I've not located you on this earth to be sure by way of the cords of relationships that pull you away from me, that tug in your spirit and make you forget your worth. You were no longer created to carry burdens that are not yours to endure. This person, even though I really like them too, has come to be a stumbling block for your direction. They do now not pour into you what I've asked others to pour. They may be not aligned with the journey I've set earlier than you. They stroll in a one-of-a-kind route, and to keep taking walks with them could be to drift far away from me. Do now not mistake my mercy for weak spot. I do no longer inform you this out of vengeance or pettiness. I communicate to you presently with urgency due to the fact your spirit is suffocating in silence. You have attempted, haven't you? Tried to like them nicely, to be affected person, to forgive, to wish that at some point they might see your coronary heart and honor it. I've visible all of it. Every tear you have shed. Each prayer you whispered late into the night time hoping for exchange. Whenever you blamed yourself for their distance, their coldness, their carelessness, on every occasion you made excuses for his or her forget or their harsh phrases, every time you satisfied yourself that in case you simply loved harder, if you had been simply quieter, smaller, more fascinating, that perhaps they could live, maybe they would be kind, perhaps they might become what you needed. But I did now not design love to hurt like this. I did not make your coronary heart to be a battleground. I made it to be a temple. You aren't imagining the harm. It is real. You feel worn out because you're being drained emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You experience small because someone else is trying to decrease the light I located within you. They speak in tones that dishonor you. They withhold affection or deliver it only whilst it serves them. They manage subtly with words that twist like vines around your confidence. They preserve you on parts so you can't relaxation in peace. And still you stay out of loyalty or fear or love or wish. However infant, you cannot heal where you're being harmed. I want you to apprehend something fully and unshakable. Your heart belongs to me first. Earlier than any dating, earlier than any friendship, before any soul tied to yours by means of time or history I claimed you. I knit you together to your mother's womb with dreams and guarantees in each strand of your DNA. I wrote your days with pleasure in my spirit, and I can now not allow the splendor I formed to be destroyed by someone who does now not see you the way I see you. I realize what this separation will price you. I understand the pain a good weight rise to your chest whilst you let go. I recognize the silence will experience insufferable before everything. I recognize your thoughts will reach for them in moments of loneliness, and your reminiscences will betray you, painting a softer model of what turned into. I understand, however, I'm already in that silence. I can meet you in that empty area. I will fill the ache with my presence. I will steady your heart and rebuild your soul. What you lose in them, you'll locate in me in a deeper, greater eternal manner. You do not want their approval. You do no longer need their love to live on. You do no longer want their presence to be complete. That lie, the only that tells you that you'll be nothing without them, that is not my voice. That isn't always truth. That is worry. And I have no longer given you a spirit of worry. I have given you electricity and love and a legitimate mind. You're stronger than you realize, and you may upward push from this. You'll breathe once more. You may dance once more. You will sleep in peace and wake in freedom. This is not abandonment. This is obedience. Once I call you to depart something at the back of, I achieve this due to the fact there's something greater in advance. I am now not asking you to stroll away in bitterness, but in love, love for yourself, love for the life I gave you, or even love for them. With the aid of permitting them to walk their very own journey without leaning on yours, allow me deal with what you cannot restore. Let me be the one who redeems what became damaged. Permit me be the only to combat your battles now. This moment right now's holy. You stand on the brink of recovery. You have got a preference, my baby. You could live and maintain to bleed quietly. Or you can rise and walk out with me. It's going to not be clean, however it will be really worth it. Consider me. I've walked each road before you. I see the path whilst you can't. I am now not asking you to recognize the whole lot these days. I am only asking you to trust me sufficient to take the first step. Launch them. Not with anger, but with grace. Launch the hope that they'll exchange. Launch the image you had on your thoughts of who they could be. Launch the desires that tied you to them. Lay it all down at my feet. I'm no longer taking something far from you. I'm saving you. I'm saving the softest components of your coronary heart. I'm restoring your dignity. I am reawakening your calling. You cannot satisfy what I've placed inside you, even as dragging chains behind you. Forgive them. Not due to the fact they deserve it, but because you do. you deserve to be loose. And I will assist you. Even now I'm sending angels to protect your coronary heart, to wrap you in peace. I'm sending my spirit to minister to your soul in ways you don't even have words for. You will not be by myself, now, not even for a second. Every night you cry, I might be there. Every time you lengthy for consolation, I can solution. I will pour love into you so abundantly that you will marvel how you ever lived without it. Listen me now, my cherished. Concentrate no longer best along with your ears, however, with the depths of your soul. For I, the Lord, your God, your Maker and your eternal Shepherd, speak to you with the voice of reality and recuperation. I come now not to condemn you, however, to awaken you to name your spirit out of the confusion, out of the shadows of deception, and into the light of clarity and discernment. You aren't alone in this. I have usually been close to watching, waiting, lightly whispering, even if your coronary heart become too weary to pay attention. However, now I communicate evidently there are human beings in your life who had been in no way meant to remain. They had been never assigned in your purpose. They have been in no way selected with the aid of me to be a part of your sacred journey. You should understand this now, my infant, with a weight and urgency that the instant requires. There are human beings whose presence to your lifestyles does not carry boom but corrosion. They do now not feed your spirit, they poison it. They do now not carry you closer to your calling, they distract you from it. They had been now not sent with the aid of me, although they will seem fascinating, loyal or maybe non-secular. Not all who communicate kindly convey pure intentions. No longer all who walk beside you are strolling in my direction. Discernment, my infant, is not suspicion. It's far a holy present I supply to guard your coronary heart and hold your motive. It smiles the light I shine upon the root so you may additionally see honestly who builds and who breaks, who pours into your soul and who drains the lifestyles from it. You have felt it already. That heaviness once they enter the room, that unease you can't give an explanation for. That loss of peace after conversations that have to were secure. That confusion that clouds your mind lengthy once they go away, that consistent second-guessing of yourself, that is not love, that isn't always what I need for you. Some people do not enter your lifestyles to nurture you, they enter to decrease you, now not constantly by using goal but usually via effect. They do not correct in love. They criticize and delight, they do now not communicate with the voice of encouragement, they echo the lies of worry and failure. They may be drawn now not to your mild to proportion in it, however to compete with it, to scouse borrow from it, to overshadow it. They use your kindness, take advantage of your loyalty, manipulate your mercy and twist your compassion into captivity. And nonetheless you name it love. You call it records, you name it loyalty. But I name it bondage. I do no longer ask you to hate them. I ask you to see clearly. I ask you to like them sufficient to release them, to no longer supply them get admission to the lawn of your soul, in which they have got sown handiest weeds. You aren't referred to as to be a doormat in the name of righteousness. You aren't called to hold every soul who refuses to hold themselves. You are not liable for restoration each coronary heart that harms you and go back. That isn't always your burden to bear, this is mine. I am the healer, the redeemer, the only who restores. I never ask you to restoration humans. I ask you to observe me. There are relationships for your lifestyles that may have once had a reason, but their season is over. A few human beings have been placed in your route as lessons, now not as lifelines. Some have been intended to be chapters, no longer the entire e-book. You cling to them because you worry what's going to stay in case you allow move, but what stays is me. I stay. I do no longer go away when others do. I do no longer falter whilst others betray. I do not develop silent whilst the world grows bloodless. I am your constant, your keeper, your truest companion. Prevent giving your treasured strength to people who do now not understand its value. Stop explaining yourself to folks who refuse to understand you. Prevent looking to prove your worth to folks that are committed to misunderstanding you. But isn't humility this is bondage? You aren't intended to remain entangled in relationships that strip away your joy and leave you empty. I've referred to as you to existence and life abundantly, no longer to limitless cycles of pain masked as loyalty. You observed you are being noble by staying. You believe you studied you are doing the proper component. But my infant, staying in places where your spirit is suffocating isn't noble, it is disobedience. I've known as you out. I've whispered in your moments of stillness. I have stirred your spirit in the night. I have eliminated peace from the relationship, no longer to punish you, however to shield you. I have allowed the pain so you could not grow secure in what's dangerous. I have been speaking not through thunder but via that sacred discomfort that you hold looking to forget about. Do now not confuse familiarity with destiny. Just due to the fact you have got recognized a person for years does now not imply they're meant to go with you into the years in advance. Simply because a person become a part of your formation does now not mean they belong to your future. Each needs pruning. And pruning looks like loss, however it leads to fruit. Trust me. I'm not taking human beings from you to punish you. I'm getting rid of boundaries to make room for those I have selected to stroll with you in love, in reality, and in alignment along with your cause. A number of the humans round you deliver phrases that bruise rather than bless. They cloak their intentions in kindness, however their fruit famous the truth. You have to realize them by means of their fruit. Does your spirit rise after speaking with them? Do you experience more hopeful, greater alive, greater connected in your reason? Or do you decrease? Do you doubt yourself? Do you feel the sharp edge of their phrases, even when spoken with a smile? I'm displaying you who they are not to make you sour, however to make you loose. Forestall defending the ones I have shown you to release. Stop trying to hold ties I am asking you to cut. You assert you adore them, and I do too, but you aren't their savior. You are not their supply. You are not their God. I am. And if they may be intended to exchange, they will exchange no longer due to the fact you carried them, but because I converted them. That isn't always your responsibility. Your obligation is to shield your coronary heart, to honor the temple I created in you, however to stroll in fact, and to let go of what not aligns with me. There is no elevation without separation. You cannot upward thrust at the same time as clinging to what is trying to tug you down. You can't walk in freedom at the same time as dragging chains. You say you need joy, readability, love, peace, but you continue to make room for the very voices that cancel out those blessings. You continue to justify the presence of folks who do no longer walk in honor. You deliver excuses for behavior that violates your spirit. You minimize the harm because you fear confrontation. However, I am calling you to truth, to courage, to clarity. You had been now not made to live in confusion. My spirit isn't always certainly one of torment. You were made to live in electricity, love, and valid thoughts. Something that always erodes that soundness, anything that leaves you doubting your worth, feeling your calling, fearing your voice that isn't from me, and also you aren't called to entertain it anymore. Allow them to cross. I can take care of what you release. I will defend what you surrender. I will heal what has been wounded. I'm able to offer what has been misplaced. There is nothing you give up in my name that I will no longer repair in more degree, but you must believe me. You ought to believe that I recognize the hidden things. I recognize what you do not. I see the coronary heart whilst you see handiest the face. I see the motives when you pay attention best the phrases. I see the endings whilst you are still caught inside the center. You maintain asking me for peace, for pleasure, for motive, and I am equipped to offer it to you. But first you should make room. Your heart is too full of noise, too complete of false duties, misplaced loyalties and poisonous ties. There may be no space for what's holy when what's harmful is still taking over residence. You ought to do the paintings of elimination. You must smooth the garden. You need to parent. No longer with anger, now not with fear, but with holy clarity. My voice will always lead you to peace. Even when it is tough, even when it breaks your coronary heart, even if it separates you from what as soon as felt safe, I am no longer leading you into pain for pain's sake. I am making you awakened to promise. There are humans ahead who will talk existence over you. There are folks who will honor your heart. Individuals who will walk beside you while not having to dominate or diminish you. There are friendships ahead in order to no longer experience like labor. There is love ahead so one cannot feel like warfare. But to discover them you need to first allow go of those who maintain you anchored in lesser things. You can't jump whilst clinging to stones. You cannot rise even as tethered to fear. You cannot grow while being shaded by folks who are threatened through your mild. My child, your light was supposed to polish, not to be dimmed for the consolation of others, not to be hidden to avoid disagreement, not to be adjusted so others sense comfy in their lack of confidence. Shine fully, boldly, freely. And as you do, you will see who recoils and who rejoices. You will see who surely loves you and who handiest cherished your silence. You may see who celebrates your boom and who resents your wings. That is your answer. This is your signal. I have given you the gift of discernment. Use it. Do now not be afraid to look the truth, even when it hurts. The fact will now not smash you. It will deliver you. Allow this be your moment of readability. Let this be the hour you pick to honor your soul. Allow this be the day you stop sacrificing your peace for individuals who might no longer bleed for you the manner you've got bled for them. Let this be your holy awakening wherein you not trade your crown for crumbs of interest, in which you now not shrink so others can feel it all. You have been made to face in righteousness, in splendor, in energy. In truth, reduce off what degrades you. Bless them. Release them. Walk away in grace. And as you do, my wind will lift you. My spirit will lead you. My wand will observe you. And you will see what you concept you wished turned into only delaying what I usually planned to provide you with. I do now not take gently the ache you've continued. I have collected every tear. I have been close to in each silence. However, now I name you forward into pleasure, into freedom, into alignment. You aren't right here to keep people who always sink you. You're right here to rise, to walk in light, to perform the calling I've placed upon you from the beginning of time. And also you cannot satisfy that calling even as certain to humans I've no longer assigned on your destiny. Not every person can go along with you. No longer everybody have to. I'm able to give you peace. I can come up with strength. I'm able to surround you with folks that see your soul and love it properly. But first, my toddler, allow go. Stroll away and accept as true with that in which I lead you may always be extra than where I pulled you from. I am with you, now and forever. Amen.